The difference between a man who stays with a cheater and a man who walks away isn't about how much they love the woman. It's about how much they fear the silence of an empty house. Have you ever wondered why you're willing to argue with the facts in front of your own eyes just to keep a woman who has already invited another man into your sacred space? You're witnessing a psychological breakdown of the masculine spirit. You're the victim of scarcity conditioning. While you're telling yourself that everyone makes mistakes and we can work through this, she is observing your reaction to her betrayal to see if you still have the spine to lead her, or if you've become a placeholder for her next adventure. You think your forgiveness is a sign of a big heart, but to a woman who has already crossed that line, your forgiveness is just a signal that she can disrespect you without losing the security you provide. You're the one paying the rent, buying the groceries, and offering the emotional support while she's using your home as a base of operations for her next search. Today, we are decoding the psychological divide. I'm going to show you why staying is often a slow suicide for your soul, and why the men who walk away immediately are the ones who eventually inherit the earth. If you don't watch this to the end, you're choosing to remain the man who tries to fix a shadow while the light is already gone. Forgiveness in the face of infidelity is often just a fancy word for a man who is too terrified to realize he is being used as a backup plan in his own life. Men, this channel is more than content. It's a brotherhood that exists for those who refuse to be controlled, distracted, or broken. My ex told me men today are too weak, too distracted, and too controlled to ever unite. I didn't argue. I decided to prove her wrong. Every man who subscribes is proof that discipline, self-respect, and strength still exist. If you stand for truth, self-control, and knowing your value as a real man, if you're here to sharpen your mindset and live with standards, subscribe and stay. Like this video and make your presence known in the comments. Let's see who's serious and is ready to prove doubters wrong, because after this video, you'll be reborn as a new man who has discovered himself and is ready to take back his manhood. Make sure to subscribe and stay ahead, because we are just getting started. We have to look at the psychology of the provider trap. You see, brothers, many men are raised to believe that their value is tied solely to how much they can endure and how much they can provide. This creates a psychological pattern where when a woman cheats, the man feels like he has failed in his job. He thinks if he can just provide more, be more understanding, or be more present, he can fix her character. You're the victim of a project management love. You think you can manage her back into being a loyal woman. But behavioral observations show that loyalty isn't a job performance metric. It's a reflection of her respect for your boundaries. When you forgive the unforgivable, you aren't fixing the relationship. You are destroying the respect she once had for you. A woman cannot love a man she can manipulate, and she cannot respect a man who has no exit point. This leads us to the scarcity versus abundance blueprint. The man who forgives often does so because he feels like he can't do better. He looks at the dating apps, he looks at his age, and he looks at the years he's already put in, and he makes a sunk cost decision. He would rather live with a traitor than face the unknown. You're being conditioned by fear. You're being told by society that good men stick it out through thick and thin. But thick and thin refers to sickness, job loss, and tragedy. It does not refer to her opening the door of your relationship to a stranger. You are being manipulated into thinking that staying is noble, when in reality it is just a comfortable slavery. You're the one doing the emotional heavy lifting to rebuild trust, while she's the one who broke it. You are the victim of a one-sided repair job. I want to tell you about a man named Derek. Derek was a hard-working guy, a manager at a logistics firm. He was married to a woman named Chloe for 8 years. One day, Derek found the messages. He found the photos. Chloe did the standard script. She cried, she said she felt neglected, and she swore it would never happen again. Derek, believing he was being a strong Christian man, chose to forgive. He spent the next 5 years trying to prove his love to her. He bought her a new car, he took her on luxury cruises, and he never brought up the affair again because he didn't want to shame her. Derek was the loser in this story because he mistook compliance for loyalty. Chloe didn't stay because she loved Derek. She stayed because the other man wasn't ready to pay her bills yet. She used those 5 years of Derek's forgiveness to finish her degree and build her secret savings. While Derek was thinking they were healing, Chloe was actually transitioning. The moment Chloe felt financially independent, she left Derek for a man she met at her new job. She told Derek, "I never truly got over the guilt of what I did, and being around you reminds me of my mistake." She used his own forgiveness as the reason to leave him. Derek lost his house, his prime years, and his belief in women. He failed because he thought his mercy would buy him security. He was the victim of a woman who saw his kindness as a weakness she could exploit until she didn't need it anymore. You have to understand the hypergamous audit. When a woman cheats, she is essentially auditing your value compared to the other man. If you catch her and you stay, she realizes that the cost of disrespecting you is zero. You have just told her psychology that she can have the thrill of the outside world and the security of your home at the same time. You are the victim of dualistic exploitation. You are providing the provision while the other guy provides the excitement. By staying, you are consenting to be the beta provider in a dynamic where she is the alpha decision maker. The next psychological trap is the gaslighting of the good man. She will tell you that the reason she cheated was that you weren't listening or you were too focused on work. This is a behavioral strategy to move the guilt from her shoulders to yours. If she can make you feel like the reason for her infidelity, she can make you work to win her back. Do you see how sick that is? She breaks the house and then she makes you pay for the repairs. You are being psychologically inverted. You are the victim of a woman who is using your own conscience against you. A man who walks away immediately avoids this trap because he knows that no matter what the problems in a relationship are, cheating is a choice made by a person with no integrity. You take your power back by walking the moment the truth is told. The man who walks away isn't doing it out of anger, he's doing it out of sovereignty. He realizes that his life is a high-value territory. If the citizens of that territory, his partner, commit treason, they are exiled, period. No negotiations, no working through it. He understands that his presence is his greatest gift, and he refuses to give it to a person who has already traded it for a discount version. When you walk, you preserve your sexual and emotional market value. You show the world and yourself that you are a man who can and will do better. The silence of an empty house is a lot cheaper than the noise of a woman who lies to your face while eating the food you put on the table. When she says she made a mistake, she's actually saying she's sorry she got caught before her next plan was finalized. You've been the victim of emotional hostage-taking. You're sitting there trying to remember the woman she used to be, while she's already becoming the woman she needs to be for the next guy. You're funding the waiting room of her next affair. Every minute you spend communicating about her betrayal is a minute you're losing on your own comeback. Today, we are finishing the breakdown of the stay versus walk divide. We are looking at the final psychological barriers, the social shame shield, the biological reset, and the power of the instant exit. I'm going to show you exactly how the winner turns a betrayal into a launch pad for a life that makes the traitor look like a distant, faded memory. If you don't watch this until the very last second, you're giving her the power to decide when your heartbreak ends instead of taking that power for yourself. The man who stays is fighting to keep a past that no longer exists. The man who walks is fighting for a future that hasn't even begun to show him how bright it can be. We have to look at the biological reset. You see, brothers, there is a deep, ancient part of the masculine brain that knows when the sanctity of his home has been violated. When a man ignores this instinct and chooses to stay, he often experiences a massive drop in his own masculine drive. His testosterone drops, his ambition fades, and he starts to feel like a ghost in his own life. This is a behavioral observation of psychological castration. By forgiving a traitor, you are telling your own subconscious that you are no longer the apex of your own world. You are the victim of internalized weakness. The man who walks away immediately triggers a survival rebirth. By exiting, he sends a signal to his own brain that he is a prize that must be protected. This is why men who walk away often see a massive explosion in their career and physical fitness shortly after. It's the sovereign surge. Then there is the social shame shield. Many men stay because they are terrified of what the neighbors, the family, or the boys will think if the marriage fails. They would rather live in a private hell than face a public loss. This is a masterclass in performative masculinity. You are sacrificing your actual happiness for the image of stability. But notice how she doesn't care about your image. She didn't care about your reputation when she was meeting him. She didn't care about your status when she was deleting the messages. You are protecting a woman who has already stopped protecting you. You are the victim of image prison. The winner realizes that his reputation is built on his strength and his boundaries, not on how many years he can stay with a person who doesn't respect him. I want to tell you about a man named Marcus. Marcus was a successful architect, a man who built skyscrapers and lived with precision. He was with a woman named Elena for 6 years. One afternoon, Marcus came home to grab some files and found a strange pair of shoes in the hallway. He didn't scream, he didn't kick the door down, he simply took a photo of the shoes, walked back to his car, and called his brother. Marcus was the winner in this story because he executed the absolute severance. While Elena was upstairs frantically trying to hide her guest, Marcus was already at his lawyer's office. He didn't send a "how could you" text, he didn't ask for an explanation. He understood that the explanation was in the hallway. Marcus moved into a high-end hotel that same night and had Elena's access to his business accounts revoked within the hour. When Elena finally tried to call him with a "it's not what you looks like" speech, she realized she was blocked on everything. Marcus didn't give her the satisfaction of seeing his pain.
Marcus won because he realized that space isn't something you give a woman, it's something you reclaim for yourself. By walking away immediately, he bypassed months of gaslighting and counseling that would have only drained his bank account and his spirit. He used the shock of his absence to negotiate a settlement that favored his future. 2 years later, Marcus was at the top of his field, traveling the world, and Elena was still trying to explain to her family why the perfect man disappeared without a word. He won because he knew that a king doesn't argue with a person who has already betrayed the crown. You have to recognize the hoovering and hysteria phase. When you walk away immediately, a woman's psychology often flips. Because you didn't beg, she loses the high ground. She will start calling you cold, heartless, or unwilling to work on things. This is a behavioral tactic to make you feel guilty for having standards. She wants you to come back so she can be the one to decide when it's over. If you come back, she wins. If you stay gone, you win. You are being auditioned for a second chance at being her victim. Don't take the role. A man of value doesn't renegotiate with a person who has already broken the first contract. The winner's protocol is about the silence of the sovereign. You don't need closure. Closure is for people who need permission to move on. You give yourself permission. You walk away because you realize that your time is the most valuable currency in the universe, and you refuse to spend it on a bad investment. When you walk immediately, you preserve your frame. You show any future woman in your life that you are a man of high standards who cannot be played. You are not a safety net. You are the destination. If she wants to stay at the destination, she has to follow the rules of the kingdom. You are being reforged. You now know that the difference between staying and walking is the difference between survival and thriving. You are no longer the man who accepts apologies as a substitute for loyalty. You are the sovereign man. You recognize that your peace is non-negotiable and your self-respect is not for sale. You are the one who decides who is worthy to walk beside you, and a traitor has already disqualified herself from the race. So, here is the smart question for the Brotherhood today. If your son came to you and told you his wife was doing exactly what yours is doing, would you tell him to stay and fix it, or would you tell him to pack his bags and never look back? Why are you giving yourself advice you'd never give someone you actually love? I want to hear from the men who walked away. How did that first night of freedom feel? How much more money and energy do you have now that you aren't policing a woman who didn't want to be caught? For the brothers who stayed and regret it, tell the younger men the truth about what happens to your soul when you try to fix a cheater. Drop your opinion in the comments. Let's get the engagement up so this message reaches the brother who is currently staring at a sorry text and wondering if he should believe it. Your honesty might be the only thing that saves his life. This channel is for men who are done blaming themselves for other people's choices. If that's you, don't leave as a spectator. Subscribe and stay ahead because we're just getting started. Support the message, speak in the comments, and stand with the men who choose clarity over confusion. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay cold, stay in your power.